My parents tried to take my house to bail out my brother. It was the final straw growing up. I always knew that my parents had a soft spot for my younger brother. Tom, he was the baby of the family and they doted on him endlessly. Even when he dropped out of college and struggled to find a job, they never seemed to hold it against him. Instead, they always made excuses for him and gave him extra help, even when it meant turning to me for financial support. At first I didn't mind. I loved my brother and I wanted to help him out in any way I could, but over time it started to wear on me. I worked hard for everything I had, and it didn't seem fair that Tom got a free pass. He never seemed to take responsibility for his own life, always expecting our parents to bail him out of any trouble he got himself into. Still, I tried to keep my frustrations to myself and just focus on building a life for myself. I worked long hours at my job, saved up as much money as I could and eventually bought a house of my own. I was proud of what I had accomplished and I thought my parents would be proud of me too. But that all changed when my mom showed up at my doorstep one day. She had a strange look in her eyes. I hadn't seen or heard from her in weeks and now she was standing in front of me looking nervous and uneasy. At first I thought maybe she was just checking in on me, but then she started to make small talk, asking about my job and how I was doing. It all felt so forced and awkward and I could tell that something was off. And then she said it. "We need your house." I was taken aback, to say the least. I had worked hard to buy my house, putting in long hours at my job and saving every penny I could. It was my pride and joy. The one thing I had that was truly mine. I didn't know how to react. I was still processing what she said. I had to say something. I tried to explain this to my mom to tell her why I couldn't just hand over my home, but she wouldn't listen. She just kept insisting that they needed it, that Tom was in trouble again, and they needed the money to bail him out. I was starting to get angry. This wasn't the first time they had turned to me for financial help, but it was the first time they had asked for something as big as my house. I felt like they were taking advantage of me, like they didn't care about all the hard work I had put in to build a life for myself. I tried to reason with my mom to explain why I couldn't just give up everything I had worked for, but she wouldn't budge. She just kept repeating the same thing over and over again like a broken record. And that's when I snapped. I could feel my anger building inside of me, boiling over until I couldn't take it anymore. I told her exactly how I felt and how unfair it was that they always showed Tom favoritism and expected me to clean up their messes. I could see the shock on my mom's face as I spoke, her eyes widening with every word. She had never seen me like this before, and I think she was a little scared, but I didn't care. I was so furious that I didn't even know what I was saying half the time. I just kept going, my words pouring out like lava from a volcano. I told her how tired I was of being the responsible one, the one who always had to clean up after Tom's messes. I told her how unfair it was that they had given him chance after chance, always bailing him out when he got in trouble, while I had to work my ass off without any help to achieve the things that I wanted. And then I said something that I immediately regretted. I told her that if they wanted my house so badly, they could have it over my dead body. The words hung in the air between us, and for a moment there was silence. My mom just looked at me, her eyes wide and her mouth open in shock, and then she started to cry. "I never thought you would say something like that to me," she said, her voice trembling. "I thought you were better than that." I felt another wave of anger wash over me, the audacity she had to tell me that she thought I was better than that. I screamed at her that I was sick of it. My voice was shaking with anger. I told her that I was sick of always being the responsible one, the one they turn to when Tom messes up, that I was sick of being treated like I'm the one who owes them something. I told her that they were the ones who owed me everything. My mom looked taken aback as she had never heard me talk to her like that before. But I didn't care. I was beyond reason and beyond caring what she thought of me. "You and Dad have always shown Tom favoritism," I continued, my words coming out faster now. "You've always let him off the hook, no matter how many times he's screwed up, and now you want me to bail him out again, and you want my house as collateral. Are you kidding me?" My mom tried to interrupt me but I wouldn't let her. I was on a roll and I couldn't stop now. I yelled at her saying, "You know what, Mom, I'm done." I told her I was done being their backup plan, their safety net, that I was done with this whole messed up dynamic that we had. I told her that if she wanted to bail out Tom, she should do it herself. But they're not getting my house. I could see the hurt in my mom's eyes, the shock and disappointment, but I didn't care. All I could think about was how angry I was, and how betrayed I felt by the people who were supposed to love and support me. After a few moments of tense silence, my mom turned and walked away, not saying another word. Update 1, 3 weeks later. After my outburst, things were tense between my family and me. My dad tried to call me a few times but I ignored his calls. I couldn't bear the thought of talking to him, not after everything that had happened. But a few days later, I heard a knock on my door. When I opened it, I saw my mom and dad standing there looking angrier than I had ever seen them before. I asked them what they wanted. I wasn't going to back down. My dad pushed past me into the house saying he wanted to talk to me. My mom followed close behind and before I knew it, we were all sitting in my living room, facing each other in silence. I asked them why they were here again. I was still seething with anger, but I tried to keep it under control. My mom said that they were here because we needed to talk about what happened. She softened her voice a bit, and said that they were my parents, and that they loved me. But they couldn't just sit by and let me turn my back on them like this. She said, "We are your family. I rolled my eyes. You mean like you turned your back on me like you've been doing to me for years? My dad sighed loudly. He said that he knows that they've made mistakes. He knows that they've shown Tom favoritism in the past. But he said that doesn't mean I can just cut them out of my life like this. He said, "We need you and we need your help. You'll be a traitor if you don't help us." I could feel my anger building again and I clenched my fist to keep from lashing out at them. "And what about me?" My voice was trembling. I asked them, "What about my needs, my wants and my dreams?" I asked them, "When have they ever cared about those?" My mom looked like she was about to cry, but I didn't care. I was beyond caring about their feelings, beyond caring about anything except my anger and hurt. "We just want you to come back to the family," my dad said, his voice pleading. He said that they'll make it up to me, he promised. He said that they'll never show favoritism again. He told me to just not turn my back on them like this, but I had made up my mind. I couldn't go back to the way things were before. I couldn't keep pretending like everything was okay when it wasn't. I told him that I was sorry. My voice was cold and final. I told him that I couldn't do that. I couldn't just forgive and forget as if nothing happened. I told him that I needed time to figure things out for myself. And with that I stood up and walked to the door, telling them to leave, ignoring their protests and pleas. I told them that in any case I wouldn't give them my house and shut the door in their faces. I knew it wouldn't be the last time we talked, but for now, I needed to focus on myself. And that was something I couldn't do while I was still tangled up in my family's drama and dysfunction. Dana, are these people crazy? They can't just ask OP to hand over her house. What the hell, dude? It's a good thing she didn't give in. I'm wondering how much money OP gave them over the years to sort out their stupid son's problems. OP's parents were legit treating her like a piggy bank. "Oh, we won't show favoritism anymore. But you still have to give us your house to bail out your brother. TSPS Runta, Nengel, and OP should have cut them off a long time ago. She probably could have gone on vacation with all of that money she spent on her brother, LOL. Lesson learned late. But at least she learned." Next story. My now husband was a recovering alcoholic when we met. I'm currently 28 female, and he's 26. Ironically, we'd met at a bar, and he was relapsing and I was there to drive my friends because they know that I don't drink. I helped him to stay sober, and has been since the beginning of our relationship. He went back to therapy, put his life together. His family is proud of his recovery, and now we married. Yay, we had the wedding last month, and one of the rules for it was no alcohol. All the money we could have spent on alcohol was used on more and better food and having a film crew. It was amazing. Some of the friends my hubby invited are ex-alcoholics too, and his family had lots of fun, but my family did not. The men in my family seemed bored the whole time. My brother during the reception asked me, "Where's the booze?" I said, "There is none." Then he said, "You should have warned us so we could bring our own," but explained that no booze was allowed at the venue. They all left early and my cousin uploaded IG stories later that showed him, my dad, brother and some uncles at a bar drinking and getting wasted. I was baffled but kept quiet because it was not my business. A few days ago, the film crew gave us the wedding video. It took a while, but was worth it. It looked like a Hollywood romantic film. My hubby and I cried while watching it. Later we posted it on social media, and quickly got flooded by comments from the males in my family pointing out how boring the film is, almost as boring as the wedding itself. I talked to my husband about it, and after some arguing, he said that my husband is a boring doormat who is missing out on having a fun life. My mom is on my side, same as the rest of the women in my family, but now I'm questioning if having a zero alcohol wedding was a mistake or a selfish choice. Edit. Wow. Thanks for that many comments in such a short time. TSM for your congratulations and good wishes. I still need to think and talk to my hubby about it. I also need to add there were times when my male family members tried to offer beer and whiskey to my hubby at family meetings. He always rejected it, and we usually leave early when they start to drink. After some time we stopped going to gatherings on my family's side. Edit 2. My family knows very well that my hubby does not drink and was in recovery. I've told them many times I also do not drink, and they know it. Little update. I don't know if it's a coincidence, but my dad sent a meme to my husband. Essentially was one of those wife bad Facebook memes. My hubby showed it to me and asked, "What is going on with your dad?" I knew that was the moment to have a talk. My dad has a habit of sending bad memes, but this one was borderline offensive. So I told my husband about the conversation I had with dad, showed him this post. He says, "Hi," and agrees that it's better to stay low contact. Later I called my dad and explained that if he cannot respect my husband, we will stop talking to him directly. He laughed at me, and said that I'm being a crazy controlling wife. That he feels sorry for that man because he's letting his woman control his life. I told my dad that I'm not controlling, that I'm supporting healthy life decisions, and that he should get serious help and hang up. After that, my mom called. She said that he ordered her to call me and make me apologize, but she only wants to say that supports my standing and choices, and dad can only cry about it. No other family members have called, but I hope it ends up well. My hubby and I will be busy watching movies tonight. Tease him to all of you. Little update too, my brother just called. He said many of the words my dad said to me. Apparently my dad told him that I'm controlling my hubby's life and isolating him. Then he said that I'll make my husband miserable in life. That he is 26 and should be enjoying his life. But instead he's married me. I just laid and hung up. I told mom about it, and she will call my brother. Oh, and she has my dad basically grounded until he calms down and behaves. She took his phone. His alcohol is in a special room, so she took the key of that room too. Nana. If they can't get through an event with no booze, then maybe they should assess their relationship with alcohol. Your dad is a monumental asshole. What kind of person says that a recovering alcoholic is missing out on a fun life? As if alcoholism is a super happy fun time. Next story. So I, 17 female, have 2 older brothers, 19, 21, and a twin sister. I should mention that my family is pretty affluent. Ever since I remember myself, my parents encouraged me and my twin to compete with each other, while they always favored her over me. She always had their support and I was expected to be considerate. When I succeed in something more than she does, they ask me to give it up, but they never asked this from her. I do love her and my parents, even though I feel like I've been treated unfairly. Both of us aspire to be doctors for a long time. I studied really hard for it a long time. So did she. This year we graduated and both of us applied for the same programs in the same universities. The process here is quite different than it is in the US. We can start med school right after high school, if we get accepted. She wants to go to the same university as I do and so does my parents. I, on the other hand, feel like going on my own and have a separate life from my sisters. I love her so much, but we've been together my entire life. She's an introvert while I'm an extrovert, so she followed me around most of the time. I always included her and made sure she's happy. But it's been like this our entire lives and I'm honestly tired. Not to mention that if we go to the same place, I would be expected to study with her, and help her get high grades and won't be able to study on my own and focus on my success. And my parents will be mad if I succeed more than her. It's been like this for the past 12 years, which will eventually hurt me. I just want to finally be a person of my own. This is where I might be the a-hole. I got accepted to 4 different universities, and she got into 2. I waited for her to decide where she wants to go, and then made my decision. Like I said, a different place. Then she changed her mind and said she wants to go to her second option, the one I chose. I said that it's not a problem, and I will go to a different place. One she didn't get into. My sister got really offended and my parents are furious, even though I explained myself politely and said that I love her, but wanted to get a fresh start where nobody knows me. They demanded that I will go to the same place as my sister or else they won't pay for my degree. Then I said, whatever, and that I'll be fine on my own and left to my grandparents. When they came to talk to me they just kept on saying how wrong and entitled I am. I really had enough, so I told them I hate them for treating me like this. Now I'm refusing to talk to them, and ignoring their calls. My brother and grandparents are on my side, but everyone else is telling me I'm in a hole, so am I. Edit. Thank you so much for the support and ideas. I read all your comments and they're all very appreciated. My brother got me everything I thought I need, including my cat. I called the university to ask if my parents can enroll me and they can. However, since they never paid, it will be difficult for them and the university can try to delay them until my 18th birthday. My grandparents assured me that they won't let them do something like that. But still it's nice to have Plan B. School starts on Monday, and it looks like it's settled for now. I will update you guys as soon as I have something to say. P.S. I don't feel like talking to them right now. It's like all of the anger I held against them is now very substantial. Hope I used the right word. And I feel like I need to cool down before deciding what's next. Probably can also use time off. Nta, you are your own person. You should be celebrated, supported and loved for the amazing individual that you are. You are not your sister's babysitter. You are not her tutor. You are not her parent. Best thing for you to do is to go to a different school than your sister. Go no contact and block your sister and parents. Get a counselor. Your parents and sister will try to guilt you and twist things to make themselves the victim and to make you do what they want. You are the victim here. A counselor will help you set and keep boundaries with them. A counselor will also help you heal from their abuse. Get all your legal documents. Change all your passwords. Make sure your parents have no access to your school accounts. Warn the school. Your parents will try to stop your admission. Have your mail delivered to your grandparents' or brother's home. You are not a bad daughter or sister by doing the above. Your parents and sister failed you. They're the ones controlling and abusing you.